YouTube? PJ here. This Dog Pound 24/7. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, please take that time, hit that subscribe, hit that like, and hit that notification bell. Good morning to you all. Hanging out in the garage, waiting to go to work. This video is going to be about why I went to prison and all that good stuff. I've had a couple subscribers hit me up wondering why I went to prison, this, that, and the third on Instagram, because they couldn't find. I mean, I've made videos on it before, not it was a while ago. So I'm gonna break it down and let you know how I went to prison. But before I get into that, I want to thank all my subscribers and viewers for your loyalty and dedication to the channel. I appreciate it because if it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you. So let's get into this. All right. Back in 2005, it was August of 2005. I was on the run. I had a warrant for petty shit. Driving without a license. I never went to court for it. So I was on the run. And this girl I was fooling around with, her family or her parents or whatever, mother, owned a house out in the country. It was vacant because they rented out to people. Well, at this time it was vacant, so I was hiding out there. All right. I remind you, back in 2005, we didn't have cell phones, okay, like that. There were cell phones, but they ain't like what they are today. So I ended up, uh, going to use the neighbor's phone. All right. Because I had a cell phone, one of them, I think it was one of them Nokias or whatever. Well, anyways, it was dead. I remember having a phone, it was dead, and I had to use the neighbor's phone. So I'd walk over to the neighbors, and I noticed when I used the phone there that they had guns in the house. The reason why I knew they had guns in the house is because I noticed, the deer heads on the wall. Mind you, this is out in the country, country setting. So I knew it, you know. But when I was using the phone in there, I heard the guy talking to his wife, saying, "Honey, what time you want to go up to the city, up to Rochester, da da da." All that. So, I knew they were leaving. They were going to be gone a while. All right. Mind you, this is back when I was, you know, using. I was not clean and sober. And so I was capable of anything. All right. And I'm not proud of what I did. It was really a scumbag thing for me to do. But it's part of an addiction. I mean, it's the territory, So, anyway, I knew they were leaving. I went back to the house, waiting for them to leave. And when they left, I gave it about 10 minutes. Went over, I went down through their basement window. Because I want to go through the front door for people to see me. So, I get in the house. And I'm looking all through the house. I come across the gun cabinet. All right. This is a nasty gun cabinet. All right. So I'm like, how in the hell am I getting into this thing? So I ran back over to the house, and I remember there was settling cutting torches in the garage. So I ended up going into the garage, getting the torches, and I brought them back to the house. So I ended up cutting into the safe with a torch, cutting torch. And man, I mean, I don't even like talking about it really because it's just it was so wrong of what I'd done to these people. So I took all their guns in their safe. I mean, there must have been 15 guns in their safe between handguns. I remember it was two AKs. I had a couple shotguns, some rifles. I took them all. And what I was doing is I ended up all the rifles and shotguns. I wrapped them up in a blanket together. I laid one down, wrap it, like folded the blanket a couple times, place another one, fold it a couple times, so they were all in the same blanket. But that's what I did, and then I found a bag and I threw all the pistols in the bag. Took all the ammunition, all that, because I know I can get rid of all that. So I ended up wiping them out. There was some random stuff I took from the house, some jewelry, this, that, and the third. And I ended up leaving, left that vacant house, never came back. And I went and sold it all, up in the city. And I remember I pulled up to the guy I used to, buy my product off of. I remember I told him what I had. He told me back the truck in the driveway. We took everything down into the basement, everything but the ammunition and the jewelry and shit. I didn't sell the jewelry there. All the guns. I was not gonna sell the bullets, the ammunition with the firearms. That was not happening. So I get robbed by my own shit. You know what I'm saying? So I told him I'd go get it, bring it back. So I told him I had to go pick it up or whatever, bring it all back. So that's what happened. I ended up selling all these firearms. All right. I ended up coming away with about, I think it was $4,200 if I remember exactly that what I got. So I'm not going to get into how I spent it. We all know how I spent it, but let me just tell you, it was quite a week, a whole week. I went into a hotel, rented the best suite in Rochester that I could find, and I just, for a whole week, went balls to the wall. You already know. So, a couple months go by. I end up getting picked up on my warrant, and I get brought into the county jail. I think it was like 60 days I was sentenced to. I end up doing my little 60 days. Well, before you leave the county jail, they do a warrant check. All right. So, sure enough, I have a warrant. All right. One of the deputies, the sheriff deputies, came to me in the jail. The jail deputy came to me, which I knew personally because he used to be, coincidentally, he was my vocational teacher when I was in high school. It was Deputy Sackett. And actually, he was a cool dude. He really was. And he ended up passing away actually a couple of years ago. But anyway, he came and told me, Polly, you got a warrant. And I'm like, what? He's like, I think a burglary. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no way. So, come to find out, long story short, I ended up going to court. I ended up getting released, and then they come and pick me up. Once you're released, they bring you to the town or city, wherever you had the warrant out of. They ended up arraigning me, and I was charged with burglary second, grand larceny firearms, and a whole mess of other misdemeanors. So I'm thinking, how did I get caught? How did I get caught? Well, I didn't mention in the story how I got up to the city. All right. I ended up calling this dude up that I knew, and he knew somebody. He ended up borrowing a truck, and he came and picked me up with all the guns. Well, he came, and took me up to them to get rid of them. Well, anyway, what happened was this individual ended up getting pulled over while I was incarcerated and doing my 60 days. He got pulled over on the expressway with a bunch of stolen shit. Long story short, he worked with the police, said, yo, listen, I know somebody that stole a lot of guns, this, that, and the third. He ended up writing like a 12-page statement on me. He wrote a biography on me and, told him a bunch of shit, even stuff that happened prior to this burglary. He put in that he wrote a biography on me. All right. So that's how I got caught. And my co-defendant, he ended up, he's dead. So it is what it is. Whatever. Um, he ended up telling on me, writing a statement. That's how I got caught. So I couldn't believe it. I was blown away that this dude, I totally never got caught on my own. Nobody knew about it besides him. And he gets caught with some $100 worth of stolen shit in his car, and he folded on me like that. And I ended up, oh man, you never that's a whole nother story. But that's how I went to prison. Fucked, I was in jail for about 2 months. Then I ended up getting bailed out. And I ended up getting a paid attorney. I ended up fighting it from the street for about a little over a year. And I did good. I was clean, and that's when I got clean, when I was out on bail. And I went back to work for my brother's company, banking money, and fighting the case. My first offer was 10 years, 10 flat. and then they said that's then they went to eight flat. So I fought it for the whole street. I got to eight flat, 8 years, and then a miracle came. And then the day of sentencing, when I went to turn myself in, my lawyer came to me and told me that if I agreed to, this is crazy, I've never even heard of this. If I agreed to pay restitution, that they would give me 6 years. And I said, yeah, regardless, I was paying restitution. So I don't understand how that, I'm like, okay, yeah, he got me a better deal. So I went with it. So that's what it was. I was sentenced in March of 2007 to 6 years, 5 years post release. So an 11-year bid. I ended up doing the whole 6 out of that 6 years. I was charged with grand larceny firearms and burglary second. So that's how I got caught. That's why I went to prison. If you'd like to look up my, case, you can by going to the New York State Department of Corrections. My DIN number is 07B1095, and you'll see it right there. So I got to get this out to you guys. I hope you guys are having a good morning. I hope everybody's staying safe. Remember, stay free, stay safe, stay Delta free, COVID free. And yeah, I'm going to be at you with another crazy story too. So everybody, until then, see ya.